I'm not one to use the word flabbergasted or gobsmacked or amazed or whatever the particular phraseology today is to indicate complete and total shock when it comes to what we're happening here. And what I'm seeing, what I'm seeing in terms of this Titan sub is an example of a complete and total disconnect from the beginning up till now. From the viewpoint or from the storyline of the actual CEO who was talking about this, who was dealing with the kind of a devil may care kind of an attitude as to well, anybody who doesn't bend the rules, you know, and this story of Stockton Rush and others, and the others who tragically lost their lives. It may be moot at this particular point. Somebody may say, look, we don't care about, this the notion of a wrongful death case, or even that of maybe reckless homicide, some type of criminal case. But the idea that they are still advertising Titan trips for next year, I just can't believe this. Just go and they say for the 2024 expedition, mission 1, June 12th through 20th, June 21st this is 2024. And the price includes 1 submersible ride, private accommodations, all required training, expedition gear, all meals while on board. And then there's a YouTube video below this which says the expedition experience. What is it like to join the Titanic expedition? And you just have to ask. You have to think to yourself, this has to be just some gross oversight, something that, well, just wait for a second. We'll get to this. Let me respond. Let me remind you, first of all, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And more importantly, which is also very, very, very important, we must understand this, very, very critical, that our supporters, we support as well. And MyPillow.com has been with us since day one, and we return the favor. MyPillow.com/Lionel, MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. Go and see for yourself what is available, what is there for a song, and the deals and the overstock sales, from pillowcases to pillows, obviously, to duvets, to quilts, and believe it or not, what they sell more of than anything else, slippers. So anyway, I've got the link there for you. Please go MyPillow.com/Lionel, MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel. What makes this case so interesting, in addition to the tragedy, and please let us not forget the notion of why this is obviously tragic. Let us not lose our humanity in this, as is the case. But what we have to do, and what we must recognize, is as follows. These are cases that make us wonder, first of all, why do people do this? What is this, we call it wanderlust, and this wild desire to be dangerous with daring do and all that kind of jazz. But the level, in retrospect, the level of cavalier, Stockton Rush, he was laughing about, well, we've got one button, it's like and you can see it. Pogue, I think, from CBS and others. You watch it in horror. And you look at this thing and you think, look, I don't know. I'm no expert on submersibles. And then we find out that the biggest problem was that they had multiple substances or materials, carbon fiber, titanium, and plexiglass. Somebody asked the best question, an interesting question, was why do you think there aren't portholes on submarines? Why? Think about that. I never thought. Again, I don't want to be like one of these folks who's the instant expert on submarines and submersibles, but this is something that is so fascinating, and how it lends itself to this. I mean it. I've got to tell you, and I've got to say to you, and I've got to remind you that what we're seeing here is unfolding like never before, where we see this tragedy, and then as we go back after the fact, in a post hoc kind of a rationalized review, we see this, and then somebody, you would think, somebody has said that OceanGate's just shutting down. You would think to leave, to be so disconnected from reality, you would leave the website up, advertising more. It's an oversight. Clearly, nobody's suggesting, and I don't know. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Nobody is suggesting this ghoulish, devil may care, like, oh well, let's do it again. I don't know how many of the submersibles they even have, which goes to show you clearly this must have been a mistake. I don't think they've got a number of them. So consequently, we'll use submersible too, but it just lends itself. It goes into this tone deaf exhibition, and also how we presume that people know what they're talking about, and we presume that folks are, how do we say this? We presume that folks know what they're doing, that they are lucid, that they care, especially when their own life is involved. Not that that should be any different, but most of the time people will say, look, if I'm going on it, it's got to be safe. Well, that's what I presumed as well. And then we're going back with James Cameron, what he talks about, and the experts regarding submersibles versus submarines. And when you look at this, when you hear Rush's comments after the fact, knowing what happened, when you hear this, you think, my God, not how prophetic, but how horrible, how incredibly horrible all of this was. It's beyond unimaginable. Beyond. So again, out of just using common sense, this has to be a mistake. I hope it is taken down. But if this goes to show you the level of just not negligence, but the lack of focus on the solemnity, the horror, the loss, the tragedy, the terror, what this represents, it just all compounds itself and leaves anybody watching this with a feeling of, my God, this is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, my friends, do not lose your humanity in this. There is nothing funny about this. I understand there's a ghoulish kind of a gallows humor involved in social media to an extent, but what I'm hearing in so many respects is so pathological. It makes you wonder how this is even possible. In any event, I thank you. I ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And don't forget our wonderful sponsor at mypillow.com, mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. There's a link right there for you to review. And now I ask you to comment in your own inimitable way. Comment as you see fit.